progress. So yeah, if you feel comfortable opening your video, please do, because we love to see you. But if you feel like you don't want to be seen, feel free to close your video. And yeah, we would like to acknowledge also our partners, because MAP has been working since 2020 to 2024. So there are a lot of partners that we've been working with, and we are so grateful for your wonderful collaboration, and also for the upcoming work. We are also have new partners as per this council plan, UPenn, and that's where we as UNESCO chair endorsement will be working with together. And the agenda for today, I will share a little bit of overview of the MAP project, and then I will pass the floor to the key speakers. There are Dr. Simon Dancey, Nila and Nar joining us today, and then Dr. Anna Smirnova, Satria, Yanuar Akbar, and Nupraj Bhandari. And then we will follow the sessions with response by our wonderful International Advisory Board member, Edem, and followed by discussion together with you all, and then have a closing and reflection at the end of our at the end of the session. And just a little bit overview of Mobile Arts for Peace. So probably some of you have heard about MAP project, has been working with us together. But for those who is new with MAP, so MAP is an international multidisciplinary research project started in 2020 and ended in 2024. But we are still having the community of practice. That's why this conference is part of the way we keep connected and learn together. So the research project, the MAP research project, focused on using arts-based practices to foster peace building and to inform national curriculum and youth policy in Kyrgyzstan, Rwanda, Indonesia, and Nepal. So as you can see on the screen, so we work with youth, educators, artists, civil society workers, policymakers to adapt local cultural forms and various art forms for dialogic purpose. So as today we have representative from researcher, educator, we have a speaker from artist background. So it will be very interesting to hear everyone sharing about how they use different cultural art forms to analyze, to explore the local conflict issues, and try to create solutions to the post problems through art-based methods. And what is most important part of the MAP project is also how we co-produce research project together with MAP stakeholders, including young people. And the use of arts-based methods is aimed to engage with decision makers from local to national level, and hopefully to be able to build sustainable communication structure and system. So as you may see also on the map on the screen, there are various art forms that had been used in the MAP project. And for each country, it might be country specific. Like in Kyrgyzstan, there are manas, epics, a body mapping that will be shared by Anna today. And from Nepal, there are forum theater, playback theater, film, and Mithila arts. In particular, Mithila arts will be shared by Noob. And Indonesia, there are digital collage, film, angklung, and angklung will be discussed more by Satria. And in Rwanda, there are also films, visual arts, drumming, imigongo, and this will be explained thoroughly today on how these different art forms being used through all the stages of the research. So how art's being used in data collections to analysis. And just a short overview, For over 4 years, MAP engaged over 7,250 research participants with a total over 28,000, and then 194 partner organizations, and having or creating more than 800 engagement activities and almost 300 artistic products to date across 4 countries. And without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Simon Dancey, the PI of Deoda Folklore and Social Transformation in Nepal. And we are so lucky to have Nar today also, who is the co-I and who is also recently passing his FIFA. So congratulations for Nar. Soon or now can be called Doctor, Dr. Nar Bahadur Saud. So over to you, Simon and Nar.
Thank you, Vina. Can you all hear me clearly first? Is that fine?
Yes.
Wonderful, good. So first of all, I wanted to say thank you to Ananda and the MAP team as well for making all of this work happen. I don't think Ananda gets enough credit for the huge amount of drive that she has to make this work. And I've been lucky enough to work with Ananda since almost the beginning of MAP as well, so for a long time. So I'll just say very quickly a little bit about myself, who I am and why I'm here. Then I'll pass over to my wonderful colleague now as well. So my name's Dr. Simon Dancey. This research that we're going to talk to you about was conducted whilst I was Assistant Deputy Vice Chancellor at the University of the Creative Arts. At the moment, I'm working as a CEO of a development initiative in East London, which is about using applied research with creative businesses and creative setups with some of the poorest members of the East End community. So for me, I've moved from kind of the academic side to I suppose, practical application of research and ongoing research to change how the creative sector works in East London, which is quite fascinating. So it's very much an honour to present this stuff today. So thank you for the team. Thank you to Vina. Now, would you like to say a little bit about yourself, Dr. Na?
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Actually, this is like an emotional moment for me, especially my journey with my study as a PhD student to now the candidate. It's really like directly linked with the map, and especially my heartfelt thanks with Ananda. She the main who connected me with this journey, and without her support, so I think it's not possible. So thank you so much, Ananda, and then I really appreciate for your support to the people like me all over the different country and the world. Please keep supporting who are in need. Thank you. And this is also very memorable for me to connect with the different map teams, and then their support, and then their collaboration, sometime emotionally, sometime like a project basis. This so financially definitely it counts a lot at that state. And then I connected with Simon, especially with this project. He has already left, and then UCA, and then I come to know about him through this project. And I want to like especially thank my colleague Dila, and my senior, he's my brother like, and then I think he's not been able to be. Uh, and then all these team members, and with this collective effort, and then again I would like to remember Rajiv. He is very close to my heart to all this process as well. And then uh, I'm really blessed to be part of this process. I'm thankful, and let's hopeful. So I will be also supporting someone else in the future as I received.
Thank you, Nav. Wonderfully said. And as you said as well, we had our third colleague, Dilla, who's based in Kathmandu. We must, he used a huge amount of work to set up on this project. But without further ado, I think we'll dive in now and give you a kind of a snapshot of what we did. And we'll start off with a short video, basically, of the art form of Dura from Nepal. So, Vina, if you could run that, please.
Is there sound, Vina? I don't know if you have to maybe unmute yourself.
Thank you, Vina. Hopefully that gives you a flavour of the very diverse nature. And now we'll talk a little bit more in detail about the art form in a second as well. So can we get the first slide up, please, Vina, as well? And we'll start just to give you a quick presentation through here and then take questions at the end. Okay, thank you. So now, do you want to talk through a little bit through this slide as well, I think, to explain to people context?
So our research is all about related with Devda as an art form to this research, and particularly we have focused what is Devda and then how it can be a medium or the model for peace building in community. Particularly this Devda is a kinds of traditional performance art, particularly celebrated in the far western and midwestern part of Nepal. It combines song, dance, and ritual. I guess you have some idea how Devda is played through this video. So there are like a different group, or sometimes it's solo performance are also done, but we have more focused on the group based performance. So this is sometime between female and female, sometime between male and female, and sometime male and male, sometime mixed, sometimes solo performances are done. And then this is the way how Devda is performed. One of the form, this I would say there are several other forms, but this is one of the form our research prioritize on this part mainly. This is like performed in circle as you have seen in the video, and then sometime in the photos, and then this is the kinds of question and answer form. So there is a one leader, we call it Deudi, the main leader, and then they lead the group, and then the rest of the audiences work at the chorus and they support. It's like and then whatever the song, it's not a fixed one. This is all about the improvisational way, and then however uh, the main Deuriya leads the song, and then the rest of the follow, and then they sometime they share the issue of the social problem through like normally they start praising the god and goddesses, and then they go to the social issues, and sometimes they satire, and they sometimes share the story of some people in community, and then people come to know about the specific issue through the song and then the participation. So it's historically it's very ancient. It talks about the very ages, and then it's challenges the particularly caste-based discrimination, gender-based discrimination, and then the political hierarchy. It's all about not a specific uh, issue. It's includes almost everything that exists in our society, and then sometimes the like a love affair between a couple or the husband and wife, and then the one community with other community, they are also emotionally and then artistically presented. So most of the people like this. So why we chose this topic as a research could be means, I think as I said, far western part is one of the least developed like a region in the country, and then the this Devda is the identity this is the living identity. I think I can say Devda is not only the artifact of the far western part. This is the identity, and this is a living, uh, like a living of their life, living way of their life. So everywhere in the past, even people used to talk in Devda, but nowadays gradually decreased. But everything
Okay.
is asked in Devda, and so we wanted to connect this the value with the peace building, particularly in the local communities, how the people are connected emotionally, so that they can come up in the fronts, and then people feel they are heard, they are respected, and then they feel healed, and then their uh, existence and their like power dynamic is able to, or it means they're able to convey their message to the government or to the power holders or something to the world, which is genuinely uh, looks natural in this sense. So that's why we chose this subject for this research as a part of art-based process.
Thank you, Nak. Next slide, please. So this is a little bit about what do we do? So I'll try and run through this relatively quickly. So we really wanted to look at this art form in more detail. And so we devised a research program that looked at a number of different strands. The first phase was really about visiting various places within the west of Nepal as well, observing, meeting with people, informal talking, getting a feel for what the actual activity was like and how it fitted within that particular society as well. We then moved secondly to semi-structured interviews, and these were very in-depth interviews as well, I should say. We generated a huge amount of data from these as well. And then what followed from that was about the analysis of this. And one of the reasons Nara and I came together is my background as a researcher was mainly in Latin America, looking at identity, art as a form of protest, and using sort of theoretical sociological models to try and understand or everything that Nara just talked about, the power relationships, who's dominating, what are the dominating themes of this. We then took that back into a kind of community feedback loop. We met with policymakers, government officials, other local community groups, religious leaders, and started to get a feel about that. So you have this loop of information that we then refined down as well. Next slide, please. This is just a little bit more about the theoretical model that we applied. So we're looking at really how people imagined their worlds and how Dura was used to project some of the key dominant hegemonies, challenges within that area as well. And then we looked about how they were situated within their own social situation. This is the field theory element as well. So their relationship in terms of caste, in terms of gender, and you started to get these really interesting themes where Dura acted as a place where power could be challenged. And your hierarchical place could, for a while, be put to one side. Now, it's a little bit more complex than that because once you leave Dura, you're back into that field, into those power relationships again. But the final area on here as well, it was around how the form became hybridized. So we talked to lots of people where they talked about the form was used as a way of expressing religious belief, the role of women in society. And this had gradually been changed where these power structures could be challenged through the discourse, the call and response that now was talking about of participants within Dura as well, which is fascinating. So you had people who were untouchables acting as Dura singers, challenging the power of those above them, maybe within the village or within the county, challenging the local government, the national government. And it was quite a emotional thing to be involved in, where you saw often women as well taking this central role, calling out all kinds of power inequities, from infidelities to issues around HIV and AIDS. It was a wonderful experience. Next slide, please. Now, would you like to take this one?
Okay, that's like how this challenges the conventional methods, especially in terms of undertaking research. Mostly question answers asked and then the reflection of the peoples are considered. So we were not able to like dive into the how the emotional aspect of this art is materialized when the research is conducted. So what actually we did, it allows the like marginalized voice in a sense that sometimes we talk with those people who have been very powerful emotion within Deuda, and they were not able to express them because being from the same community, we were very familiar with the local language, local dialect, and then we were familiar with that community. So we have access on this way to identify. So that's why we think that this has been able to pick the voice of the marginalized to articulate their stories. And then this is not only from what they say, we also observe their emotional and social truth behind it. So as a result, then when they were able to express their emotion through song, uh, what cannot be achieved in the formal or informal dialogue. So the song is such a powerful tools, or the words they use in the song are such a powerful, so they cannot easily express them in the normal dialogue. So this is the way of lyrical analysis we did there to obtain that information. And so when you talk at the later stage, when you talk about the situation, when you use such kinds of beautiful words, or the sometimes you satire with someone else who have a power or with weaker, then do you feel such like don't you feel like you have been targeted, or you will be have some problem in the future and so on? So
Mm,
most of the respondent, they believe that it is very easier to express their emotion through Devda song. So that's
yeah,
why whatever the words, whatever the emotion they find, that's easier to express than the conventional one. So, and also this is all about, we focused on the community, and then we have been already familiar, and then uh, there are the some incident we encountered that they cannot express what they actually want to say in the formal language. Rather, they express very beautiful meaning, very deep meaning, and very emotional meaning through the song. So, because that's why we showed the lyrical and then analysis to obtain the
mm.
data. So that's why this is a little bit different than the conventional methods. Yeah.
Thank you, Nak. Next slide, please. So I think you can see it was quite interesting as well. I talked about this just earlier on as well, in terms of some of the themes that came through. So even though you could challenge these power structures through the form as well, there were others that we interviewed as well that felt that these power structures were justified and that Dura should actually be supporting them. So you have this contested space, these contested, reminded me a little bit of kind of Western rap battles in a way. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. I mean it in a very positive way, where people would challenge each other back and forth, challenge ideas, challenge these dominant thoughts as well. And these themes that came through were really, really interesting in terms of gender, caste, I suppose economic standing, power within the community as well. Next slide, please. I'll say a little bit about this and I'll pass this on to Sanar as well to mention. I think one of the interesting things for this, so this, the story is we look at the art form, we work with the people, we perform analysis, we gather data, we analyze the data, we bring it back to the community. And then we talk about how could we actually build on the strengths of this particular form. How could we weave this into things such as the curriculum within schools, using Dura as a form potentially for running workshops? How can we use this to influence government policies as well? How could we work and get support for the art form as a tool for dialogue and discourse within these areas as well. And also there's an acknowledgement of the art form as an art form in itself as well, which is very important to remember that, you know, it's woven into the community. Now, would you like to say something on this area as well? You're muted now.
Yeah, you have already shared about it, but just we want to like add like how it can be connected with the youth generation. It's really interesting. That's the you can see with this photo as well. Then whenever we try to talk about how you want to contribute this, there would have some, they know they want to contribute, but still their expression seems like a shy, seems like different in this context, and many of the youths are interested in to involve and to expand this area of through practice and through research. So that is what the good to attract the local government and then the local policymakers, so that it can be continued in the future activities as well. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Now, next slide, please.
It's the end of, I think.
We are finished. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I hope that's given you a snapshot of what we did. I've compressed it a lot, and Naz compressed it a lot, but it's just to give you the feel of how vibrant this art form is and how important it is to challenge these structures of power within Nepalese society, but also the potential then to use that power reframed via curricular and policy developments as well, with the overarching aim to look at how you can look at longer standing peace within a particular area as well. So I will stop there and ask for any questions. Thank you.
Vina, in terms of your chairing, did you want to have questions following each speaker or after all the speakers?
I would suggest that you can write your questions on the chat. Everyone can write your questions on the chat, and then we can come back to the questions and discuss in the second sections of discussion. And this, how that sound? Yeah. So thank you so much, Simon and Nar. That was such a brilliant presentation, such an give a that deeper understanding about Dioda and also the cultural context, but also how map involve or like shaping in Nepal. And the next speaker, I would like to invite Anna Smirnova. Let me open slide. So Dr. Anna Smirnova is also MAP PhD researcher between 2021 and 2024, with her research focusing on the arts-based peace-building curriculum for and with young people, a case study of MAP project in Kyrgyzstan. She is now a Creative Health Associate for Arts for Us project at Edgehill University. So she is looking at how exploring mental health using arts-based methods to, or maybe like for mental health of young people in the northwest of England. Anna Smirnova, Anna, please feel free to take the floor and I'll help you with the slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vina, and good day, good evening, everyone. I'm very happy being here, and also I would like to thank you, Ananda, and you, Vina, again for this amazing opportunity to connect with my project again, to see all amazing colleagues with whom I had like such a great time within 4 years. And also it's very important to see our findings and our sustainability of our project, which is like which is great. And I hope we will meet again and again to talk about this. So Thank you, Vina, for introducing me. As already was said, I was PhD researcher within MAP project, and I was working particularly in Kyrgyzstan context. And today I would like to present just a little part of my PhD about art-based peace building curriculum in Kyrgyzstan for and with young people. In particular, I would talk about body mapping methodology, but I would like to start saying that local cultural form in Kyrgyzstan mostly influenced by Kyrgyz past, the nomadic past. So mostly it's oral forms, it's performance forms, and my colleagues from Kyrgyzstan today and tomorrow will speak about this more. What's the great job they were doing in incorporating some local traditional cultural forms in performances for young people to connect more deeply with adults, with policymakers. They were using traditional dancing, traditional poetry competition, and for me as a visual researcher, visual sociologist, and also art therapist, it was very important to take this into account. And I was very happy to contribute by using some more visual research methods, which we discussed and choose together with young people, MAP clubs members. And today I would like to invite you to know a little bit more about this methodology, which is, I think, very powerful tool in as a participatory art-based method and body mapping storytelling. Vina, could you please, next slide. Yeah, next slide. So I would like, because I'm aware of time, so I would like to briefly provide four main arguments why this tool is very perspective and also can enhance theory and practice in participatory art-based methods, and how it provides some insights in visual representation and also cultural understanding in context of Kyrgyzstan. So body mapping is a process of creating body maps using different art techniques which can visually represent aspects of people's life, their bodies, and also world they live in, and also stimulate storytelling and self-analysis in our case, in conflict resolution, in helping young people to reveal their feelings and what they think about conflict and problems around them. So my first argument about, next slide please, about why it can be very important, because as other researchers, as my own experience demonstrates, that body mapping storytelling is the space for participants to convey their stories in their own terms. So we really, during our work, we really created safe space together with young people by creating body mapping legend, body tracing. They use their body in order to demonstrate their position to the world and how they feel, visualizing problems and using meaningful symbols which allow to explore in depth for me as a researcher, and for them as researchers, and also to deep understanding themselves, their embodied experience of intra and interpersonal problems and conflicts. So next slide, please. Also, it's very important to say that body mapping is a very effective tool for generation and of multi-layered information about life trajectories and embodied experience. And the process allowed young people deeply reflect on their experience, facilitating their culturally and context-sensitive information. And I have to say this was particularly important and crucial in the Kyrgyz context, because it's still very patriarchal society, and for young people sometimes difficult to raise their voices about problem, about their feelings. And the data was collected in visual and oral form, so it was body maps and also narratives. Then young people was telling the story about their body maps, and analyzed using visual analysis and thematic analysis. And the 4 key themes were revealed, which we discussed very deeply about how young people can see problems in Kyrgyzstan. So it was a problem about gender inequality, also very normal for adolescent stage, but still culturally influenced problem of loneliness and non-acceptance by others, fears and motivation for future, as well as their concern about insecurity and violence, which exist in schools very broadly and in general in families and Kyrgyz society. Next slide, please. So also one of the advantages of body mapping storytelling that it's combination of visual, textual, and oral information, which provide better understanding of participants' complex stories. As I already said, it was important trying to combine these different forms that it can be linked for some cultural tradition in Kyrgyzstan, that they can perform, they can talk, and young participants not only was telling, not only enjoying creating visual maps, but also telling their story, sharing their insights with others, and also even was some inspiration. They creating some poetry about their works, which is very traditional as well for Kyrgyzstan. Then poetry become as a tool for discussing and improvisation about social problems. And last, and next slide, please. Last but not least, which is very important in the context of Kyrgyzstan and in particular in our project, to raise, in order to raise young people voices, body mapping also can serve as a catalyst for awareness raising project. Young people were really enthusiastic in organizing our body mapping exhibition, where I could see how they enjoy telling their stories, discussing with adults problems which they try to bring to the conversation, how easier for them was to reveal themselves using this visual tool. It was not only exhibition, it was also some presentation of the video, because one of our partner in Kyrgyzstan was rather impressed of this work, and how young people, in particular young girls, were talking about their stories, their vision, how young women in Kyrgyzstan live, what problem they face, and it was created some video about this. And on the picture you can see that three main participants who were in this video, they were so engaged with audience, talking about their experience. They were feeling like they're kind of film stars presenting, and really raising very serious conversation about young women and gender inequality problems in Kyrgyz society. This video soon will be available on MAP website with some description how it was created, and I hope you will have chance and enjoy watching it. So I think I will stop here. So if you've got some hot, like very desperate question, I'm very happy to answer now, or please use the chat and we can discuss this more at the end of the session. Thank you very much for your attention. I think I've got last slide. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. That's wonderful insight about the body mapping. I mean, like, Anna is my colleague during the PhD journey, but it's barely I heard from her about that four key insights from the body mapping. So it's really good to hear from you today. And thank you so much, Anna. We are opening for questions if you have any insights, and thank you so much for your response. Thank you again, Anna, and we are going to hear from our third speaker, Satria Yanuar Akbar. So, hello, Kak Satria.
Hello, Vina.
I will
Yeah, hello
spotlight Kak
everyone.
Satria. Hi. So, Satria
Hello.
is a creative producer, playwright from Saung Angklu Ujo, Bandung, Indonesia. And he was part of the Gen Peace project in Indonesia, which was initiated by King's College London and Save the Children Indonesia. So the floor is yours, Kasatria.
Okay. Can you help me with the presentation, Vina?
Yeah, sure. I'll just share it with everyone. Just a second. Page. Yeah. Yeah. Can
Okay.
you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
we can see
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Satria. I'm creative producer and playwright from Bandung, West Java. It's afternoon at the moment. And I would like to share our story, get involved with MAP project on August 2003 and January 2004, focusing on our indigenous cultural form called the angklung. Next slide, please, Vina.
Do you want me to play the video first or?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Okay,
Okay, I
yeah.
will just stop share. There is one video. Yeah, I'll share screen again, and hopefully you can hear the sound as well.
So this is the indigenous people of West Java, the Sundanese tribe, and they playing the angklung for ritual purposes. And this instrument, believe, has been around in our communities in the 7th century. In the early days, the angklung used as a medium that believed will attract the goddess of fertility to come to the earth. So this instrument played mostly in a harvesting ceremony, and it actually symbolized the harmony between our world. Yeah. Just a glimpse so you can have the feeling how the art form looks like. Can we go back to the slide, Vina? Okay, and next slide, please. This is the angklung. In early day, the angklung, not before that, yeah, is a sacred instrument. It's made from bamboo and rotten, and it plays by the children until the elders. Before the modern era, the angklung used the pentatonic tone scale, the traditional tone scale. But back in 1938, one of Indonesian maestro named Daeng Sutigna convert the angklung tone scale become diatonic tone scale, a Western tone scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. And since then, angklung able to play any various of music and widely used in school as a part of an instrument to teach musical theory in school. And next slide, please. And for this past 25 years, I work in this art center called Saung Angklung Ujo. Our art center lies in Bandung, has been established since 1966, and we are a community-based art center who try to develop the local culture and try to develop the economic society by performing the art form become a tourism destination. We also help the children in the communities to preserve the instrument and made the instrument as a part of touristic destination. These are some picture of our late performance back in 1960s, 70s, and until the modern era. Next slide, please, Vina. Yeah. So basically, angklung have the unique the unique methodology. Angklung is idiophone, and each angklung made only one note. So if you're alone, you cannot play the music by yourself. But when you are gathered with your friend, your college, and in a group, you can make a beautiful music. In Indonesia, we have this methodology called the 5M of angklung. Angklung is easy to play. Everyone can play, just hold and shake it, and it's cheap, it's interesting, and it's educative, and it should be play togetherness. With the angklung, it developed the tolerance, and it helped to grow the mutual understanding and cooperation among each other. So these approaches we use to strengthen and convey a message in a map project in Indonesia. Next slide, please, Vina. Yeah. So for us, when we involve with this project, we try to fully understand that music and art is a universal language. It actually break any barrier from the cultural barrier and the language barrier. With the angklung, we can communicate between young youth and the elderly, and it actually delivering complex truth with unparalleled grace. So for us, by joining this project, it's open many new possibility about the art form. Next slide, please, Vina. Yeah. Oh, okay. Um, Before we joined the MAP project, our community was basically see the art, the angklung, only for its aesthetic and entertainment values. We are not we are not aware that art could amplify and deliver more strong value rather than the aesthetic values. And through this art project, through the MAP art project, we actually learn how is actually art could deliver crucial message. It's push us beyond conventional artistic development, and we learn to harness art not merely for people amusement, but as a dynamic tool and capable of fostering awareness, inspiring action, and ultimately contributing to a better world. So we would like to say thank you to Ananda, to Vina, and all the MAP participants for dragging us here and open new possibility about how using art to create a better world. So thank you for it's for me from now. Thank you very much, Vina. Back again to you.
Thank you so much, Satria. That's such a wonderful presentation. And on the contrary, would like to thank you for being part of MAP project. It's really we are very grateful to have Saung Uncle Ujo to be part of the MAP project and to learn from you as well on the cultural art form itself, because angklung is traditional art form that many young people has forgotten. But the missions from Saung Angklung Ujo is really to bring back the value or the value of angklung to young people's life. And with MAP, it seems like it's more what is it, more than just introducing angklung as a musical instrument, but really to be a tool for them speaking their mind or giving advice to adults. So thank you so much for being part of MAP. And I see that there are a lot of questions and also comments on the chat. Thank you so much for engage actively with us today. And I would love to invite one other speaker from Nepal. We have Noob here, Noob Raj Bhandari. Hi.
Hello, hi Vina.
Hi, Noob. Thank you so much
Yes.
for joining this session too. Um, let me open the slide for you. And in the meantime, you may introduce yourself, probably.
Thank you very much, Vina.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I'm dealing with some problem with the internet, and I'm using my mobile data for now, so the bandwidth is very low. So I am going to close my video for now, but you can see
Okay.
me. Look at this is me, Nubraj Bhandari, who is going to present
Yeah.
here now.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want me to close my video as well? So I will share the presentation slide, and feel free to start. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Vina. And you have already given my introduction. My name is Nubraj Bhandari. I work with Janaki Women Awareness Society. My organization works in the Madhya province, that is in the central southern region of Nepal, keeping women and girls at the heart of its projects. Our aim is to create a prosperous society where women and girls can live a dignified life. In Madhya province, women and girls are surrounded by multiple social norms. They do have a lot of challenges in their past and present lives. Some people still consider their daughters, the girls in the community, as a burden to their family. And often, dreams of a girl is only to present herself, unless otherwise reformed. The dreams of a girl is to present herself as a good wife to a good man. However, they do not get an opportunity or do not get a platform to speak about their challenges and about their dreams. In this context, to support women and girls of Madhya province in communicating their challenges and their dreams to the public and to the policy makers. Can I have next slide, please, Vina? We implemented a project. We implemented a map project in which we used Mithila art. Mithila art is one of the most popular form of art in Nepal. It is very unique to Nepal, unique to women because it is predominantly painted by Mithila women. The girls of Mithila region learn the skill of painting from their mothers and their grandmothers. And this way, this art has been passing down through across generations. It is a traditional form of art which depicts the ancient culture of the Mithila kingdom. I said my organization operates in Janakpur Dham. Janakpur Dham is the present capital of Madhya province, and it is the capital city of ancient Mithila kingdom, which is the hub of Mithila art. Here in this photo, you can see our beautiful young artist standing with a painted Mithila art painted T-shirt. Her name is Priti Karna, and she is the one who painted this beautiful art. In this art, you can see the images of man and nature as well. So, Mithila art is believed that it connects human to nature. Can I have the next slide, please, Vina? Yes, look at this slide. These beautiful arts have also been painted by Priti Karn, whom I showed in my previous slide. And these four arts, these four steps that you are seeing here explain the whole process that we moved through in our research, in our project. The first is the introduction seminar. We had engaged 9 young girls and their senior family members as a primary participant in our research project. The first day, they got an opportunity to meet with their colleagues. They talk with each other. They also got an opportunity to meet the research team as well. They also got an opportunity to meet the international delegates, international artists who had come from Rwanda to Nepal. The next day, the participants were moved or taken to a park where they enjoyed safe and free space to reflect on their past and present challenges of their lives. They had an in-depth discussions there. The girls and women, while in a park, they enjoyed the happiest moment of their life. Because nobody was controlling their thoughts. They were freely speaking with their mothers, and they were freely speaking, freely talking with their peers as well. They did cycling. They also talked around some of the proverbs that are still in use in Mithila province that often portray women negatively. Okay, the proverbs which seem no longer fit to be in society, but people are still using it, and they speak or explain women negatively. And guided by such proverbs, they had an in-depth discussions. The women and girls, the intergeneration group had an in-depth discussion. Then in the next step, all the discussion points, all the data they had generated from the safe and free space day, they took them, carried them to the Mithila art workshop and translated them into Mithila artworks. The young girls, together with the professional Mithila artists, they created different 15 Mithila arts, which was displayed in an art exhibition for the public and policies. In the fourth stage, you can see in the art exhibition was visited by more than 700 audiences. The audiences were included policymakers, journalists, students, teachers, NGO activists, and other people from other different sectors. So with these 4 steps, in which we used Mithila art and the way the we generated the data and disseminated them through an art exhibition to the policymaker. We believe that, next slide please, Vina. We believe that our research contributed to the conventional approach of the research. Look at the image 1. The girls and senior female members were having an in-depth intergenerational discussions. The mothers and grandmothers who might have a fate to be an influential, to be a big person in their life, because they didn't get a chance, they didn't get an opportunity in their time, they are housewife now. They did not get an opportunity even to dream. And those who had seen some kind of dream, they could not share to anybody. And some dreams that were shared, nobody heard, they just disappeared. But here, through our project, they had an in-depth discussion, and they engaged in in-depth discussion. Then they translated them into Mithila art, then finally exhibited them to the policymaker, to the open public policymakers. And look at the photos of the art exhibition. The audiences who visited our art exhibition, they were not visiting like a passive audience. They were curiously asking questions, and they were listening attentively. And it was a bigger room where we had an exhibition, and hundreds of chairs were there, and every time it remained full occupied for the whole day. So, and even after visiting the exhibition, the local policymakers and journalists and local intellectuals, they were interested to have a meeting with us, with the research team, to know about the research process, to know about how we engage in Mithila art. Okay, so this is the beauty of this art-based approach that we believe that we have found. Next slide, please. Can I have the next slide? Yes. So in terms of challenges, initially, before starting the project, when we were selecting, identifying and selecting, and we were obtaining the consent from the girls and their parents, initially they were confused. We went to them and we said like, this is our project and we will move through this way. They were confused because nobody had talked like this before with them. Okay, and they never had thought that one day somebody would come and talk that they would use Mithila art this way. So initially they were confused. So it took us some time to make them understand the process, but they were very interested and they understood, and finally everything went very well. The second challenge is not with art-based methods and not with us. It is with the participation of the girls, because the young girls have started to see a dream now. Through our project, they are empowered and they are seeing a dream to be something in the past. But the social structures are still there. The social structures will not allow them to do whatever they want to do. There are many barriers, especially particularly the barriers created by the patriarchal sphere of the society. So that is something that girls are having challenges, and the challenges is with the patriarchal structures of the community for the girls. Can I have the next slide, Vina? Yes. So in terms of future exploration of the research, we only engaged women and girls in our research project. So, but we think that engagement of boys and men in the similar kind of art-based research project can be a way forward for future. Okay, so that can also give us a sense of like gender transformative approach as well, and that also engage men and boys into the framework of Mithila art and challenge the something that is predominantly painted by women only. That can create a kind of gender, can improve the gender equality as well. Then another thing that we did is we invited policymakers at the end of our event. We invited them in the exhibition session only, but they were very interested. So the future research could engage them from the very beginning throughout every steps. Okay, that could bring more policy impact. Then the next is, although our research through our research, some of the girls and women could share their challenges and their dreams to the policymakers. But there are many other girls and women who have many such hidden challenges where they are not getting a platform to speak. So maybe we also need to think about the best routes and methods that can engage many girls and women through art-based approach, so that their voices are communicated to the policymaker. So this is the end of my presentation for now. Your questions are most welcome, and I'm very thankful. And I hope you heard me, though despite the challenges of the internet. And finally, all the artworks, all the arts that I displayed here, the credit goes to the respective artist. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Noob. Thank you for sharing Mithila arts to us. Hi, see you again. Thank you. It was wonderful to hear how you work with young girls and also women with Mithila arts to not only to represent their life, but also becoming a a discussion point with policymaker, with men in particular, and also it's really interesting to see how, like Ananda mentioned in the chat, the connection between project, how the patriarchal issues still kind of like strong part that we can discuss together today. And before we go to the discussion, and I'm looking forward to the questions and responses. I would like to invite Edem. Sorry, I will remove spotlight. And yeah, we have here Edem Agbe. So I will just introduce Edem a little bit. So we have Edem Akbe here. He is our one of MAP International Advice Report. And Edem is Managing Director of Participatory Development Associates, or PDA, based in Ghana. And he serves on the MAP International Advisory Board and is currently undertaking his doctoral research at the University of Lincoln. So, Edem, yeah, over to you, Edem. Please share your response to our to all the presentations today. And yeah, we are keen to hear your thoughts about how arts-based methods and cultural art forms being used and how we can further these methods or approach. Over to you, Edem.
Thank you very much, Vina, for this, and then also great presentation by all the presenters. I mean, looking at the various cultural art forms and how contextually they've been modeled, integrated into a research process, advocacy and dialogue pathways, and also looking at how policy response are emerging. For instance, during the presentation on the Duda, where I'm looking at critically how the traditional platforms have been integrated in the research process, both at phase one and phase two, which then brings in the issues of the social imagery and all the quadruple analysis. Now, what is interesting about that, which maybe should be also a platform for deeper reflection also, is how they've been able to use that to navigate spaces of tension, which is structural tension, what Ananda refers to power dynamics and also agency and voice. And you could see that connection even with the Mitela Arts project as well, linked to issues on gender-based violence, gender inequality, what young girls go through, and then also how that is also used again to build evidence for the aspirations of young people and presented also to policy makers as well. Now, and if you look at what Anna also presented on the body mapping as well, you see how it builds the combination as well of the visual, the textual, and also the oral information about issues that the young people are facing. And that also linked to the social barriers, issues affecting the generating evidence around gender inequality, deep issues affecting young people through the body mapping. But you notice that also they build that for also policy engagement and policy dialogue. There are issues that maybe we should discuss them more, and maybe even our colleagues who did presentation could help us touch on it, whilst helping young people use art-based methodologies in the process. How are we also navigating issues around their safeguarding, ethics, and protection in that, because of the various forms of expression as well? And then when you look at the presentation from Indonesia on the, is it the uncooling art-based method or as well, you see how that tool, the music tool, is now used for intergenerational civic engagement on, again, not only just preserving cultural traditions, but also advocating for a social change on issues as well that is affecting them. This clearly help us see a trajectory where art-based methods, when being intentional, is also collects information that is expressed in different forms by young people but young people, women, I mean, different structures in society. But one common thing that it should, and that maybe as practitioners, researchers, that we should also look at is how are policy makers able to effectively understand some of these, the art language, and how are they able to integrate it in policy for policy making process or the policy update. If I've been in Rwanda for I think the past 2 months or so just back, and if Iki were to be here, we had a whole conversation on that about they using drum and dance to stage the evidence where the very same issue that is the barrier to the participation of the young girls empowerment and also decision making is a very same tool used to advocate and facilitate their empowerment for curriculum in integration as well. And we could see that also coming through in some of the art displays as well. So a deep reflection here for me, which we should all also look at, is in as much as the art is building multiple voices in visuals, in performances, in textual, and in presentations, how are we ensuring that our primary audience, social data structures, and policymakers also are able to understand these effectively for the structural policy and societal change that we are looking for? This is what I want us to deeply reflect on. And then also, how do we unpack these methodologies? One thing I'm looking at now as part of my work is trying to build a concept from Rwanda using their post-genocide engagement, which they do annually, right, to commemorate and have deep reflection. They call it the Kwibuka also. And I'm looking at, okay, what if we build Kwibuka into the art methods process, where we have components for deep reflection with policymakers on the arts produced by young people, women, or the cultural artists. So it is in as much as the performance or the staging is beautiful, we also ensure there is that whole deep reflection session. Now, beyond the deep reflection, now what are the issues that the art process is communicating, and what are the evidences coming from it? So when you pick body mapping, or you pick the metal art, for instance, and you see the art where you just have young girls going through issues of engaging in multiple social activities at the same time, but they are expecting also to have equal opportunities with their mate colleagues, for instance. How do we get them to have that deep reflection? And should we also encourage processes where policymakers also use arts to respond to some of these things, whilst we build that into policy discussions? So this are some of the observations I've made, and also issues that I think during the discussion now we could have some deep reflections on, Vina. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that's very strong reflection. And I like that you mentioned about how art, it's not only, aim to give multiple voices, but how it's understand effectively. Thank you so much, Edem. And Is there anyone would like to respond to? Or maybe we can give clap to all the presenters and the respondent first.
Oh, the
Such
presenters.
an
And
engaging
thank
day.
you, Edem, so much for
Thank you so much, Edem.
really thoughtful, deep questions and comments. I wonder, Vina, because we have 10 minutes left, if the presenters maybe have had time to take a look at the questions in the chat. There are some overlaps between questions, so I don't think we'll take question by question, but maybe each presenter can just take one question that seems to be directly related to your presentation. Shall we do it that way?
Yes, absolutely. I think Anna raised her hand, so over to you, Anna.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, I can start because I could see some very interesting questions in the chat, and thank you very much for your for this, and Adam for your very deep reflection of this. So I will try to combine this question in my answer. So talking about responses of policymakers on our body mapping evidence, I would say that it was not like formal responses, but actually the main point of this was to open up the channel for communication between like policymakers and young people. And the key outcome of this, it was that policymakers and adults in general, they could see young people in new light. They could see that they are not kids, just kids. They can be equal partners in discussing important questions which concern them, which like really influence on them, so impact them. So I think this is the biggest effect, and this is very important in Kyrgyzstan in general, that young people got empowered by like these instruments with channels to be able to talk to adults more freely. And it was question about like was it any problems like bullying, because it's really sensitive information was revealed. And I should say that I can say that we didn't have any problems, quite opposite. Young people were empowered to talk about this. They were interested to present their work, because of course it was only up to them if they are ready, if they will to present their work. It was not any pressure to present them. So they were choosing what they, how and what they would present. And as I said, they feel like they're artists. They feel very important, that they can present these big issues for them. So this sense of ownership and recognition by this process, I think it's very important for young people for developing their agency. And another question, if quickly about
I think just because of time, I think we'll just go with one question each. Sorry.
Okay,
but
sorry.
You can answer it in the chat. You can answer it in the chat.
Yeah, I will answer in the chat. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else would like to respond? Simon, I see your smile.
Yeah, no, but I kind of listening to everything's like really fascinating. But I suppose what strikes me is that the way that the artistic form can be used to challenge power, how it becomes a sort of counter-hegemonic, to use that kind of approach to it. But at the same time, it's pushing outwards to challenge these power structures. And that's where the policy stuff comes in. We brought policymakers into the room with the people who are engaged in the practice. But also it's about transforming yourself. So it's about art works as a dialectic. So it's pushing out, but it's challenging your own imaginary of who you are and what your community is. So it acts as this kind of tool that sits between these two areas. And I hate instrumentalizing art. As a musician, I'm always about the intrinsic value of art, but I think it does both. And so for me, I think that came through, we were talking about the filmmaking and the writing and the collective use of instruments. It's about how art becomes this form that allows us to transform ourselves, but also pushes back on power and challenges that power as well. I think we have to be careful about where art can't work as well. Where are the delimitations? Where does it stop? Because certainly in power structures, and I work a lot in government with policies, it's very, very difficult to get those people to shift. But What it does do is allow us to have a platform for people to say another type of world is possible to those who have power, but also to ourselves, we can live a different kind of life. So it can be quite profound in that way.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Simon. Kak Satria, would you like to respond?
Yes, I would like to explain about the adaptation of angklung for intergenerational communication. In terms of angklung, actually, angklung teach about equality, cooperation, and compliance. In our project, we ask the elder to become an angklung player. Each elder hold one angklung, and the young people become their conductor. When the player obey the conductor, they compliance the rule, they can create a good harmony, a good music. And it's a soft way to tell us that we also should listen to the young people. And if we work together, equality, it will deliver a good sound of harmony. Like that, Vina, yeah.
Thank you so much, Satria. And last but not least, do we still have? No. Maybe we lost him.
Yes.
Oh,
yes, I'm still here. I'm still here. Okay. Again, I'm going to put up my video.
Yes.
Okay. Here is a question by Heather Connelly. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Yes, and to respond your question, I said yes. There are specific images that Mithila artists use and the young girls used to convey. What happened? Mithila artists used to convey, to communicate their stories to the policymakers. And I hope Vina will share my presentation to you, and there you can find my email, and hopefully we can connect later and talk more on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vina and ma'am, you feel free to share my presentations so that if anybody is interested to know more, we can be connected through email.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I would like to say my thanks to everyone who is joining us today. Thank you for all our wonderful speakers, Simon, Anna, Noob, and Satria. Thank you for preparing and sharing, importantly, because it's also giving us new understanding, and particularly about the local art forms that being used in the MAP project. And for the last, to end our session, I would like to share one slide. This is a collage of artworks that had been created in the MAP project from phase 1 to the end of the phase. I would like to invite you to take a look and to enjoy it, to feel it, and also then to pick an image or an aspect of that image that resonates with you, or what you might take away from this session. It can be a feeling, an idea, a question. You can pick one image or one element of the image and can write on the chat of what you are feeling, or if any ideas or questions pop up. I'll give 2 minutes or 3 minutes. This is our reflection art wall. So yeah, we are opening up your response to any images, any element of the image. And please to share your thoughts or comments. This is all created by young people in the MAP project, and some of them strongly presenting the issue, the youth issues that they are facing. Thank you so much. And last but not least, this is the Padlet page. If you'd like to pop any questions or share anything that relates to this session, do feel free to add any thoughts or images or artworks to this Padlet. You can scan this barcode. Oh, thank you so much, Ananda, Adam, and Anna. And yeah, we are reaching the end of our session today. I once again thank you so much for all your wonderful participation. And I think we are on time, which is wonderful. And we are still having some sessions. Actually, after this, within 1 hour, we will have session 3, which is adapting map in different contexts. And then tomorrow we will have young people joining us in session 4, youth research and leadership. And then following that, there will be sessions about policy and curriculum in 4 countries, where Tim Pranke will be respondents of that sessions. Thank you, Tim. And so enjoy your lunch or dinner. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good rest. Have a good day.
Thank
I
you.
will stop the
Thank you.
recording
Thank you,
now.
everyone.
Thank
And
you.
namaste.
Namaste.